A Course in Miracles, Lesson 80. Let me recognize the problems have been solved. If you are willing to recognize your problems, you will recognize that you have no problems. Your one central problem has been answered, and you have no other. Therefore, you must be at peace. Salvation thus depends on recognizing this one problem and understanding that it has been solved. One problem, one solution. Salvation is accomplished. Freedom from conflict has been given you. Accept that fact, and you are ready to take your rightful place in God's plan for salvation. Your only problem has been solved. Repeat this over and over to yourself today, with gratitude and conviction. You have recognized your only problem, opening the way for the Holy Spirit to give you God's answer. You have laid deception aside and seen the light of truth. You have accepted salvation for yourself by bringing the problem to the answer. And you can recognize the answer because the problem has been identified. You are entitled to peace today. A problem that has been resolved cannot trouble you. Only be certain you do not forget that all problems are the same. Their many forms will not deceive you while you remember this. One problem, one solution. Accept the peace this simple statement brings. In our longer practice periods today, we will claim the peace that must be ours when the problem and the answer have been brought together. The problem must be gone, because God's answer cannot fail. Having recognized one, you have recognized the other. The solution is inherent in the problem. You are answered and have accepted the answer. You are saved. Now let the peace that your acceptance brings be given you. Close your eyes and receive your reward. Recognize that your problems have been solved. Recognize that you are out of conflict, free and at peace. Above all, remember that you have one problem, and that the problem has one solution. It is in this that the simplicity of salvation lies. It is because of this that it is guaranteed to work. Assure yourself often today that your problems have been solved. Repeat the idea with deep conviction, as frequently as possible. And be particularly sure to apply the idea for today to any specific problem that may arise. Say quickly, "Let me recognize this problem has been solved." Let us be determined not to collect grievances today. Let us be determined to be free of problems that do not exist. The means is simple honesty. Do not deceive yourself about what the problem is, and you must recognize it has been solved. Lesson 80. Let me recognize my problems have been solved. There was a man who spent his life working in a courtroom, not as a judge, not as a lawyer, but as the defendant. Every morning the trial began again. New charges, new evidence, new witnesses called to the stand. This person wronged you. That situation shouldn't have happened. You failed. You were mistreated. You are not enough. And the man took it seriously. He studied the evidence. He prepared arguments. He defended himself and accused others. Sometimes he won small motions. Sometimes he lost entire cases. But the trial never ended. Day after day, year after year, same courtroom, same tension, same weight in his chest that never quite left. He believed he had many cases, hundreds of them, each one separate, each one urgent, each one demanding resolution before he could finally be at peace. If I can just settle this one, if I can just win that one, then maybe, finally, he could rest. But rest never came, because as one case faded, another took its place. Different face, same pressure. Different story, same feeling. One day, exhausted beyond effort, he looked up and noticed something strange.
The judge had never spoken. Not once. The gavel had never struck. No sentence had ever been declared. The courtroom was loud, but nothing had ever actually been decided. Confused, he stood up. "When will this be resolved?" he asked. Silence. He turned to the prosecutor. "Present your final case." Silence. He turned to the witnesses. "Tell the truth." Silence. For the first time, he stopped arguing long enough to actually look. Not at the evidence, not at the accusations, but at the structure itself. And that's when he saw it. The bench was empty. The judge had never been there. No authority, no final voice, no one to condemn him. A quiet realization began to rise, not as a thought, but as a loosening.
Then who has been judging me? And the answer came, simple, undeniable. You accepted the trial, so the trial appeared. Not forced, not imposed, accepted. He felt it then. The weight he had carried was not coming from the courtroom. It was coming from his agreement with it. Every argument, every defense, every attempt to prove something had been his way of saying, "This is real." He sat down slowly, and for the first time, he stopped participating. No objections, no defense, no counter-arguments, just stillness. And in that stillness, something unexpected happened. All the cases, all the charges, all the separate problems he had been trying to solve, collapsed. Not one by one, all at once, into a single idea. I am guilty. That was the only case. That was the only problem. Every other problem had been its costume. Every situation, its disguise. Every grievance, its witness. And without that one belief, nothing else could stand. He didn't solve the cases. He didn't win the trial. He simply stopped believing the accusation. And in that instant, the courtroom responded. The prosecutor faded. The witnesses dissolved. The stacks of evidence vanished. Not because they were defeated, but because they had nothing to stand on. No belief. No structure. No structure. No problem. He stood up, slowly. Not to fight, not to prove, but to leave. No permission needed, because there was no authority to grant it. He walked toward the exit he had passed 1,000 times before, unlocked, unblocked, unquestioned. And as he stepped through, something became unmistakably clear. There had never been hundreds of problems. There had never even been a trial. There had only been one belief, quietly assumed, never questioned. And the moment it was seen, not fixed, not fought, but simply seen, it was over. Not gradually, not eventually, completely. One problem, one solution, and nothing left to solve. Only peace that had been there the entire time.